Hello everyone, welcome back to Miffy Chinese. 大家好，欢迎回到我们的频道。In today's lesson, we are going to break down the lesson 7 of the new HSK 3.0 standard course. Follow us to join the journey of the ultimate HSK 1 to 9 marathon. Alright, let's dive into lesson 7. Before we start the new content, we will do a quick review of lesson 6 homework. So we have, as usual, 4 pictures, and we have to describe them with the new words we learned in lesson 6. First picture, 他的手机号是多少? Remember, we use 多少 to ask a number. Second picture, 我想去超市买牛奶. I want to go to the supermarket to buy some milk. Here we have 2 verbs, 去 and 买, go and buy. Third picture, 王美美想坐出租车去超市. Wang Meimei wants to go to the supermarket by taxi. 坐出租车 by taxi. Remember to express how we do something, the way in which we do something. We put the way, the how, before the verb. 坐出租车 before 去. And last picture. 这些包子非常好吃. These 包子 are very delicious, are extremely delicious. 非常 extremely 好吃 delicious. Alright, so now let's start lesson 7. The title of lesson 7 is 我晚上6点半下课. I'll finish work at 6:30 in the evening. One of the most important things we are going to learn in lesson 7 is how to express an exact time or the hour. So let's do a warm-up exercise. Match the expressions with the clocks. You can probably guess which is which because we have already learned the numbers. So let's try this exercise even before I explain what are the rules of expressing time in Chinese. Let's look at option A, 8点15. This matches with picture 6, 8:15. You can see the numbers for 8 and 15 in this expression. Option B, 15点20, 15 and 20. We match it with picture 4. It's 3:20 in the afternoon, or it's 15:20. Option C, 10点10分, 10 and 10. We match it with picture 1. It's 10 minutes past 10. Option D, 13点45. So 13点 13 is actually 1 o'clock in the afternoon. We match it with picture 3. 1:45. Option E, 12点半. We match it with picture 2. We can see the number 12 in this expression, so we match it with 12:30. And last, option F, 18点, belongs to picture 5. It's 6 o'clock or 18 o'clock. Alright, so after doing this exercise, I don't know if you already find some of the rules of expressing an hour in Chinese. Let's see. The language points for this lesson are 2. First, the expression of time, and then we learn about the modal particle 把. First, let's look at the expression of time. The first word we are going to be looking at is 点. 点 means hour. So if you want to say a time which is something o'clock exactly, no extra minutes, you just say the number and you add the 点, the 汉字点. Let's look at the examples. 9 o'clock, 9点, 9点. 5 o'clock, 5点, 5点. And 2 o'clock, 2点, 2点. 2 o'clock, attention here, it's not 2点, because 2 is also 2, but we use 2 here. To express an hour, we say 2点. So we explained before that 2 is used before a quantifier. So you can understand 点 for hour as a quantifier, and that's why we use 2 and we don't use 2. Now, what if it's not something o'clock exactly? if there are extra minutes, we use the word 分. But there are some details to keep in mind. First of all, 分 can be omitted. Look at the first example, 9:20. We can say 9点20分, or we can just omit the 分. We say simply 9点20. Both ways are totally fine. Only in one case, 分 cannot be omitted, and that is when the minutes are exactly 10 minutes. Let's look at the second example, 6:10, or 10 minutes past 6. 6点10分. Here, it's not acceptable to say 6点10, doesn't make any sense. Okay, so remember this detail. Another special case is when the minutes are less than 10 minutes. Look at the third example, 5 minutes past 8. We have to add 0 before the number of the minutes. So 8:5 is said 8点05分. Or we can also omit the 分. We can say 8点05. Alright, that's it for the minutes. Let's move on, and now let's look at the 汉字半. So 半 means half in general, and in case of expressing time, when we want to express half past some hour, we add 半. So let's look at the examples. 7:30 or half past 7. 7点半. 7点半. Half past 3. 3点半. 3点半. Half past 11. 11点半. 11点半. Of course, if here you want to say, for example, 7:30, to say the number 30 is also right. So you can say 7点30. It's also right. Okay, so the last 汉字 for expressing time is an extra that I added. It's not on the textbook. It's 刻. So 刻 means 15 minutes. When it's exactly 15 minutes, we can use 刻. Let's look at the examples. First example, 15 minutes past 4. We can say 4点1刻, or we can say 4点15. 15 past 10. We can say 10点1刻 or 10点15. And last, what if it's 3:15 minutes and that is 45 minutes? 1:45, we can say 1点3刻 or we can say 1点45. So the two ways are both very common in Chinese daily conversation. Alright, now let's do some exercise. Match the clocks with the right expressions. Okay, so the first clock, 13:30, 13点半, or you can say 13点30. The second clock, 20:38, 20点38. You just say the numbers. And the last clock, 6 minutes past 10, 10点06. Or you can add the 分, 10点06分. Alright, did you get it all right? We see here that the first two clocks actually exceed 12 o'clock. It's a number bigger than 12, so it's actually an hour in the afternoon. And actually, it's not very common in Chinese to say an hour and use a number bigger than 12. Like in the exercise, we used 13 or 20. It's actually more common to use the word 上午,中午,下午, and 晚上. And that means morning, noon, afternoon, and evening. Before we say the hour to express whether it's, for example, 8 o'clock in the morning or 8 o'clock in the afternoon or evening. So let's look at some examples. 10:58 in the morning. If we want to say 10:58 in the morning, we say 上午10点58. If we want to specify it's 12 o'clock a.m., we can say 中午12点. 中午 means the noon. Now, 14:30, half past 2 in the afternoon. We can add the word 下午, which is afternoon in Chinese, before the hour half past 2. So we can say 下午2点半. Last example, 10 minutes past 9 in the evening. We can say 晚上9点10分。晚上 means evening. So there is no confusion if you are saying 10 minutes past 9 in the morning or in the evening. Alright, that's it for the expressions of the time of the hour. I hope you find it clear. If you have any questions, please leave your questions in the comment section below. Great, now let's look at the modal particle 把. So the modal particle 把 in this lesson is pronounced with a neutral tone at the end of a sentence. So we leave it very light at the end of the sentence. It is used to express suggestions, consultations, advice, or requests. Let's look at some examples. 我们下午3点见吧。好的。See that I leave the 把 very light at the end. Okay, so in this sentence, 见 means meet. It's actually a suggestion or a consultation. It says, let's meet at 3 o'clock in the afternoon. Next example, 你去超市买吧。超市没有。超市 supermarket. So here you can understand the sentence as some kind of a request. You go to the supermarket to buy it. There isn't any in the supermarket. Last example, 我们去西安饭店吃晚饭吧。好的。Let's go to restaurant 西安 for dinner. Okay. So here it's some kind of suggestion or consultation. All right, now let's look at the new words for text 1. 现在. 现在. This means now. 点. 点. We explained in the expression of time it's when it's something o'clock exactly. 早上. 早上. Morning or early morning. 上午. 上午. Morning. So a lot of my students ask me if 早上 and 上午 are anything different. I would say they are actually pretty much the same when we use it in daily conversation. But if we have to differentiate, like in the textbook, 早上 is maybe earlier, even earlier than 上午. So 早上 you can translate it as early morning and 上午 morning in general. But actually in daily use, I don't think there is any difference. 分. Minute, we explained it before. 课. Class, lesson. 下午. Afternoon. So if you compare the word 上午 morning and 下午 afternoon, you'll see the only difference is that morning is 上 and afternoon is 下. The 汉字午 is the same. So let's break it down. 汉字上 actually means up, over, on top of something like this. And 下is the opposite. It means down, below, under something. You can see the two 汉字 are actually also written like the opposite of each other. So these are very useful 汉字 that will appear in a lot of words. For example, we can add 上 to 课, class, lesson. 上课 means attend class. And we can also add 下 to 课. 下课 means dismiss a class. Alright, let's move on. 见 meet. 把 the modal particle. Perfect. Now let's listen to the text and read the text with us if you will. 现在几点？
早上8点40。
我上午10点10分有课。
好的，我们下午2点见吧。